day 87. It's getting closer to the end. And I was talking to somebody on a podcast today, and she was asking me about my 100 days. And I mean, it's a significant commitment, but I think as we were talking, there were several themes that emerged, and I think what is nice about having done something like that is that when I was doing my weekly videos, say on Sundays or something, I would always stage it at least a little bit. I would go outside, I would go, maybe I would think about what to wear or something, right? I was like appearing on camera. Whereas doing it for 100 days, it's, there was no way that this could possibly be somehow prepared. And that's exactly what I wanted, actually. I called the series Making the Invisible Visible. And I love that it kind of not forced me, but what emerged is that you get me exactly the way I am. On days when I have my hair freshly washed and clean, on days when when my hair is less, fresh, on days like today that is just so humid and so hot, and my skin is, shiny and all that stuff, like all this stuff that is the opposite of what a professional would do, right? Like I am a relatively public figure in that I put myself out publicly. And the world from which we come that means polish, some kind of polish, right? You do something with your hair, you do something with your makeup, you do something with your clothes, lighting. I didn't do any of that, and it just actually feels so good. And the reason why I'm talking about it today is that I've been having some reactions from several people with the theme that what was particularly helpful about these 100-day commitment is that they saw how ups and down, how up and down my emotions are. They saw how, like one person said yesterday, that there is not a single way to be. There isn't like a rule of the way I'm supposed to be or something, that I just allow myself and I just am all that I am, and how volatile and how mercurial it all is every day, right? This is what is the truth about our human predicament, in that we're affected by all sorts of things. We're affected by the tides and the moon cycles and the seasons, and whether it's hot or cold, and whether we slept well, and what we ate, and did we hydrate ourselves enough, and and this week particularly, I'm working a lot and long and rather tiring days, so I felt a little burnt out just this afternoon. So just all this, I love that I was able to document the realness of what it's like to be human and to be a woman, and to not be the same, to not be static, to not be consistent. The only consistency I have is my commitment to showing up every day, but what every day looks like is very, very different, and I love that I'm able to show it. And I love that I stuck it out, and we'll see what will happen at the end of these 2 weeks that are still left. And what is also wonderful is that it was a very, very spontaneous process of channeling for me, because I never really thought about in advance about what I was going to talk about. I usually just finally, I either remember, or I have like 15 minutes in between sessions, and I just quickly do it so that I don't forget. And whatever comes out is what comes out. So that's another really interesting exercise to me, I think, because I love that it just, it just flows, and I don't need to censor myself because I've spent many, many years worrying about how it's all going to be perceived, and whether what I'm saying makes sense and is it perfect, and the fact that I'm flowing freely now is just really my greatest joy, and I really celebrate myself for allowing myself to do that. And it's a constant kind of, not struggle, but it's a constant dialogue, because even just a few days ago I was on Zoom, and there were some things that I said in my group program that later my inner critic kicked in and was like, maybe shouldn't have said that, maybe you shouldn't have taken it there. And in moments like these, I'm just, you know what, I trust my flow. I trust by now that whatever needed to come out. And even if it's not perceived or received as well as I intended it, well, I did it for me then. So yeah, it takes getting used to, for sure, to allow myself, to express myself just the way I am, and whatever comes out is what comes out. And so yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say by all this is that I'm really, really happy that I did this, that I stuck with it. 100 days is really, really ambitious, but I somehow got into a flow, and I think I'm almost going to miss it when it's over. But it'll be over right before I go on my big, big trip, so it'll be okay. But yeah, so this is me today. See you tomorrow.